Starting with Anna Hazare, who had everything in 2011. A nation watching, a parliament totally rattled, a generation of urban Indians who had never felt political before suddenly feeling it, standing at Ramlila Maidan with candles, with flags, with a fury that had nowhere else to go. And he was the face of it. Not the brain, not the strategist, but the face, the Gandhian, the old man fasting for all of us. The movement was real, the anger was real, but Anna had not thought past a hunger strike. He had not asked himself, what happens when the crowd goes home? And when Kejriwal answered that question by forming a party, Anna froze. He did not follow. He took affidavits from his remaining supporters, literal signed affidavits, right? Promising they would not enter politics, as if a piece of paper could hold the momentum he had already lost. The movement became a party he wasn't in, a government he did not endorse, a legacy he spent the next decade quietly contradicting. And in May 2026, at almost over 85 years of age, Anna Hazare endorsed the Cockroach Janata Party. The man who could not hold his own movement together is now lending his name to a satire party of India. That is not solidarity. That is a man still reaching for the fire he let go out 15 years ago. Now, here is the thing about the person who did form that party. Yes, I'm talking about Arvind Kejriwal. Kejriwal built AAP on the exact moral vocabulary that Anna had given him: anti corruption, pro accountability, and very specifically against liquor. He said it. He campaigned on it. He and Anna had raised their voices together on this. Then AAP came to power in Punjab. Punjab? Yes, which consistently ranks among the states with the highest per capita alcohol consumption in the country. Now, I want to be very precise here because I'm not speaking from a distance on this matter. I trained in addiction psychiatry at NIMHANS for over a month. So there, I was not reading case files, right? I was in the ward. I watched what sustained alcohol use does to a person, what it does to the brain, the tremors, the psychosis, the organ failure that arrives quietly and then all at once. So, when a party that was built on the promise of sobriety governs a state drowning in alcohol and does not treat that as a crisis of governance, I am not making a political statement. I am making a clinical one. The backtrack here was not dramatic, it was administrative. Now, you know about Medha Patkar. Medha Patkar's backtrack was quieter, but it cost her something more permanent. 30 years of the Narmada Bachao Andolan, 30 years of marching, fasting, being arrested, watching tribal communities lose their land to rising water while governments called it development. She built her credibility the hard way, the only way that actually holds. And then she joined AAP in 2014. I'm not saying that it was wrong. I am saying it was a category error. A movement figure and a party figure are not the same thing. Parties negotiate. That is what they do. And the moment Patkar sat inside a party structure, she was subject to its logic, its compromises, its calculations. The Sardar Sarovar Dam was built anyway. The communities she fought for were displaced anyway. Her joining AAP did not change the outcome for the Narmada. What it changed was her position. She moved from outside the system to inside it and discovered that inside is a much harder place to say a no from. Now, do you remember Sharad Pawar? He never pretended. That is almost admirable, right? He admitted in his own words that his 2014 offer of outside support to BJP in Maharashtra was, and I am using his phrase, a political ploy. He said he deliberately took steps to widen the distance between BJP and Shiv Sena. This is a man who has been Chief Minister of Maharashtra 4 times across 5 decades, who has aligned with, broken from, and realigned with nearly every major political formation in the state. He does not backtrack because he is weak. He backtracks because he has always understood that a public position is a negotiating instrument, not a commitment. Holy guacamole! Now comes to the apple of our eyes, Rahul Gandhi. He drove a tractor to the parliament. He called the farm laws black laws. He stood at Jantar Mantar for 41 days in solidarity. He promised a legal guarantee of MSP if Congress came to power. Congress governed several states during the farmers' protest and did not implement MSP guarantee in any of them, right? The movement won eventually through sustained pressure from the farmers themselves, not because any opposition leader delivered. Rahul claimed a piece of that victory he did not produce. Now, when you borrow the moral weight of a movement without being willing to absorb its cost, you are not an ally. You are an audience member who wandered onto the stage. And with all of these, we finally have a stage prepared to discuss Sonam Wangchuk, who has a real cause. Ladakh's constitutional status, the sixth schedule, the protection of land and culture for a people who were promised something and given nothing. That cause is specific, serious, and documented across years of hunger strikes, marches, detentions, and negotiations. It is his life's actual work. And then the Cockroach Janata party happened to him. A viral moment born from a meme built on genuine youth anger about unemployment and exam paper leaks and inflation, right? Like 25 million Instagram followers in days. And Wangchuk called himself an honorary cockroach. The LG sat him down, complimented the Himsarovar project, reminded him that there is an in principle understanding on constitutional safeguards in progress. And now we are being told Wangchuk is likely to revisit his position on CJP. He did not lose because the establishment was stronger. He lost because he was in a negotiation the whole time. And a person in a negotiation cannot afford to be a symbol for everything. The CJP endorsement was not a strategic alignment. It was a reach for relevance beyond his actual cause. And the moment you reach beyond your actual cause, you give the other side something to point at. So, CJP or Ladakh? Someone in that room asked him, and apparently the answer was Ladakh, which means the youth who thought they had him will never have him. And Ladakh, which actually does have him, is still waiting.